Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Decided to do a combo video this morning because of the serious nature of this storm that is approaching. Wanted to show all the different factors that are coming into this storm. So this morning we have increasing clouds, winds coming in now from the east. They were coming from the northeast earlier this morning, now back to the east, with temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 20s over the northern interior, where we have a very well established snowpack, upper 20s to lower 30s in your northwestern suburbs. As you head towards the coast, temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s, and down towards Cape May and Wildwood, New Jersey, we're up to 45 degrees already as the warmer air starts to surge northward. And that's going to be one of the key factors here with our storm is the warm air driving northward, allowing temperatures to rise above freezing in Connecticut before the precipitation reaches those locations. But unfortunately, for the Poconos and Catskills, it will be right around freezing as the precipitation starts to move in. You can already see it here in central Pennsylvania, where we're seeing areas of moderate to heavy snow already breaking out. That's going to be lifting northward as the warm air surges towards the region. When we take a look at our radar here from WeatherTap, you can see the precipitation starting to invade the region here. Some heavier snows picking up here in central Pennsylvania, and we have a lot of rainfall back to the west. Let's zoom out and take a look at just how extensive this storm is. All of this is going to be lifting to the northeast. And what we're going to be keeping an eye on is the convective element of this line right here as it lifts to the northeast. Now, we're already getting reports down in Florida, down towards the Gulf Coast here of tornadoes, some damaging tornadoes, unfortunately. And that just kind of feeds into the dynamics of the storm and how impressive it is as it's lifting northward. And of course, on the north and northwest side of the storm, you have the cold air in place producing blizzard conditions in portions of the upper Midwest. So, as we watch the warm air invade, this is at 925 millibars, and you can see the warm air starting to win this fight along the coast. That's going to continue throughout the day. So we'll continue to see this warm air transport. And what we're going to be watching is this area right here of strong winds at 850 millibars. As the warm air is surging northward, supporting an all rain event for most of the region outside of the Poconos and Catskills, it's also going to feature a very strong jet streak. Now, we're not seeing precipitation yet. And the reason why is because of this area of dry air. You can find this data at twisterdata.com. Free website, excellent website with all your SKU-T data. Now, why this is important is that this environment, first, it causes cooling at the mid-levels. Then it also sets up the dynamic convective element of this storm that sets up your squall line by the time we get to later on this evening. So this signal here of very dry, cold air aloft is really important because as this moisture drives in, the atmosphere is going to become conditionally unstable. And while at the surface it's going to be stable, at the mid levels it's going to become unstable, just enough to support a squall line that's going to march through the region late this evening into early tomorrow morning. On the infrared satellite picture, I mean, you can't get more impressive than this. Very impressive cold cloud tops. You can see the explosion of convection within this line. You can see that expanding northward. Very impressive setup here with very strong lifting. And that lifting is starting to push towards the northern mid-Atlantic. And of course, there is our upper level low associated with this whole storm, and that's going to continue to lift to the northeast. Our upper level winds, when you see this spread out like this, right? Think of it like taffy again. When you're pulling taffy, you start to create holes in the taffy, right? Because you're stretching it. Those holes need to get filled, all right? Because there's always the atmosphere is always trying to balance itself. So in order to fill those holes, air has to rise rapidly. So in this whole area here, you're having air rapidly rising from the surface to the upper levels of the atmosphere to fill this stretching motion of the atmosphere. So when you see this signal here, this tells you have very powerful lifting setting up over the mid-Atlantic, while this subtropical and polar jet stream phase into one storm. And that shows up very nicely here on the water vapor satellite picture. There's your upper level low that's going to be heading towards the Great Lakes. And all this moisture is going to be lifting to the northeast towards the East Coast and the Northern Atlantic. And again, this area here is what we're going to be watching for. So when we take a look at the model guidance here, the reason why we're concerned about the strong winds is because at 850 millibars and at 925 millibars, you have sustained winds at 50 to 90 knots. And so when you have that type of environment set up here, and you have thunderstorms mixed in with this heavy rainfall, you create an optimal scenario of mixing. So some of these strong wind gusts can get mixed down. And that's what we're starting to see as the storm continues to evolve and grow in power. So this jet streak that we're watching right now in the Tennessee and Mississippi River valleys that's supporting development of tornadoes down towards the Gulf Coast is going to expand northward and head towards the mid-Atlantic coast, and that's where we have our concern. So the immediate Jersey Shore and Long Island and Connecticut, you're going to have the highest potential for those strong wind gusts because a lot of these winds are going to be over the ocean, so you're going to reduce the potential for friction, which means your winds are going to be able to move faster in these areas. So South Shore, Long Island, I'm very concerned about wind gusts. And when I see this, one thing that sticks out in my mind is power outages and wind damage. So that is going to be a serious concern right around midnight. Just to show you the upper level dynamics here of this storm, the one good news is that this is moving pretty quickly. So the reason why that's good news is because with all this strong lifting at all levels of the atmosphere in this environment, and with all of this intense moisture, you're talking about precipitable water values exceeding 2 inches in some locations, that's going to support some very heavy rainfall. So right now we're looking at 2 to 3 inches of rain. If this storm was moving slower, it would have easily been more. Plus you have a melting snowpack as the temperatures are rising. Combined with all this rain is going to produce areas of flash flooding. And that is generally the concern as the storm is lifting through the region. Again, it moves at a pretty quick pace, but it doesn't need to stick around long to create some significant damage and significant problems. You can see that the sustained winds as we move on through the evening increasing to 15 to 30 miles per hour. And you can see the potential of those wind gusts. Again, I'm really concerned about the Jersey Shore and Long Island, possibly seeing 50 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Further inland, it's going to range somewhere between 30 and 60 at times within some of these thunderstorms as the line moves through. But again, this is all moving very quickly. So the worst conditions are essentially going to be from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. as this storm marches its way through, and then showers linger thereafter. And so here is what we're expecting with this storm. So again, everyone could expect 2 to 3 inches of rain here. Okay. The difference in zones is the difference in impact. So in the yellow zone along the coast, we're looking at winds from the southeast of 15 to 30 miles per hour, gusts between 50 and 70 miles per hour, moderate to major coastal flooding, 2 to 4 feet expected. Power outages are a high threat. In the green zone, we don't have a snowpack in place, but we are still expecting 2 to 3 inches of rain with a saturated lawn and grass and water table, should I say, and that's going to increase your potential for urban flooding and flash flooding throughout this region. Then the red zone, this is where we already have a snowpack in place. So that snowpack is melting. You're having heavy rainfall on top of that. You can expect sustained winds at 15 to 30 miles per hour, gusts between 40 and 60 miles per hour. So definitely a high potential for down trees, down power lines, power outages, very poor driving conditions this evening into tomorrow morning. Even after the rain leaves tomorrow morning, you still gonna have the residential impacts from the downed trees, the overrunning rivers, the flooding that's going to be going on, the urban flooding. So again, rather nasty. And then up in the purple zone, this is where we're expecting a start of snow and sleet of 1 to 3 inches, maybe a tenth of an inch of ice with sleet and a little bit of freezing rain. And then we change over to 2 to 3 inches of rain again in this location. Again, about 1 to 4 p.m., we'll start to see the changeover to all rain in the region. Again, power outages are a concern, wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour. Now, with all this rain, some of you snow lovers out there might be wondering, hey, when am I ever going to see a winter storm? Well, we have a couple of storms out there that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Take a look at the 500 millibar pattern that sets up here. Now, by the weekend, we got our next storm coming through. This most likely is going to be rain, maybe a little bit of wintry mix. So we'll have to watch out for the interior. But this second storm, the one that moves through now, and this storm here that moves through the weekend, that sets up this very impressive block here. And as I was saying to premium consulting members yesterday, the pattern's here. You can't get much better pattern than what we see here. And so I'd keep an eye on January 16th, and I'd keep an eye around January 20th during this time period, right about when the block becomes established and when the block comes to an end. During those time periods, I'd be very, very cautious and keeping an eye on these systems before we go into a little bit more of a relaxation thereafter. But certainly there's the support here for at least 2 more winter storms after these 2 rainstorms that come through. So let's take a look at our forecast. For today, rain developing throughout the day, becoming heavy and widespread towards evening. Temperatures will continue to rise through the day, with high temperatures in the lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s along the coast. Tonight into tomorrow, as this storm moves through, look for heavy rain, strong winds, wind damage. You heard it all. Temperatures will be holding until that cold front moves through in the mid-morning hours, where temperatures will plummet thereafter into the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior and upper 30s to mid 40s along the coast. For tomorrow afternoon, sky cloud cover with a few lingering rain and snow showers, with high temperatures ranging from the upper 30s to mid 40s over the northern interior and upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. On Thursday, high pressure will be in control with sky cloud cover. Look for low temperatures ranging from the upper 20s to lower 30s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. For Friday, high pressure will be in control with sky cloud cover. Look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 20s over the northern interior, mid to upper 20s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the mid to upper 40s over the northern interior and upper 40s to mid 50s along the coast. On Saturday, we have our storm lifting through with periods of rain expected. Temperatures on Saturday will range from the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to mid 40s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the upper 30s to mid 40s over the interior and upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. On Sunday, look for a sky cloud cover with, again, a few flurries here and there, but nothing really too significant over the northern interior. Much chillier. Look for low temperatures in the mid to upper 20s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. High temperatures in the mid to upper 30s over the interior and lower to mid 40s along the coast. On Monday, look for sky cloud cover with temperatures ranging from the lower to mid teens over the northern interior, upper teens to lower 20s along the coast, and high temperatures in the upper teens to mid 20s over the northern interior, mid to upper 20s along the coast. And on Tuesday, the potential for snow, sleet, and rain throughout the region could be a significant winter storm. We'll have to keep an eye on it, with temperatures ranging from the upper teens to mid 20s over the northern interior, mid to upper 20s along the coast, and lower to mid 30s throughout the region for highs. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day, and please stay safe out there. We'll have updates this evening on the storm as it evolves, so stay tuned.